Hi everyone, so today's video is going to be a first impression video. Haven't done one of these in quite a while, but today I'm going to be doing a first impression video on the Catrice all round contouring palette. I bought this a few weeks ago in Pennies and I've been waiting to use it for this video to give you guys a first impression on it. I'm so excited to use this, like you actually have no idea. It has been so difficult not to play around with it before this video. I'm only getting a chance to film it now, and as I said, I've had it a week if not 2 weeks, so it's been hard not to have a play with it, but I'm so excited to try it because if you guys have followed my channel for any length of time whatsoever, you will know that I am obsessed with the Catrice All Round Concealer Palette. I absolutely love it. This is about my 5th or 6th one of these to have in the last like year. I go through them like water. They're just amazing. And this one you get like 2 colour correcting concealers. Like I've hit pan on, you know, 3 out of the 5 shades. The green one you can use on like redness, and the pink you can use on dark circles. And then I love these 3 concealer shades because I just feel like they match my skin perfectly for when I'm pale and when I'm tanned. I just feel like I get so much use out of them. I love this darker shade for cream contouring. For when I am pale and tanned, I just find that it's quite cool toned and I think it is a really great cream contour colour. Then I love the middle shade for concealing any blemishes or anything like that when I'm pale. And then if I'm a little bit tanned and I need to darken this one up, I'll obviously mix in a little bit of the darker shade. And then the lightest shade is just amazing. If you're really pale, it's great. It like just blends into my skin, matches me perfectly. It's great if I am tanned and I want a really dramatic highlight, which I love. I always use this. I mean, this is a concealer palette, but I've been using it for cream contouring and highlighting for quite a while now, and you can understand my excitement when Catrice decided to bring out a contouring palette from the same line. I was ecstatic. So I already love this because the consistency of these concealers are amazing. Like they're actually perfect. I have tried contouring and highlighting palettes before and the cream concealers are just so waxy, so thick, really hard to blend out, and they go quite oily on my skin, whereas these, they just like melt into the skin, look really natural, and I really love them. So I just thought I'd give that one a mention because it will basically give you an idea of how much I love this, and it's gonna have to, this one's gonna have to live up to the concealer palette because I love the concealer palette and I have high expectations for this. I really do. I hope they used similar formulas for the concealers, because if they did, then this is going to be amazing. I feel like I'm going to go through these like there's no tomorrow if it lives up to my expectations. So obviously you get 5 contouring and highlighting shades in the palette. It's $4.50, which is an amazing price. I got mine in Pennies, as I said. Penny stock Catrice, but pharmacies nationwide here in Ireland stock Catrice as well. So if you have a Catrice stand near you, definitely have a look, because my local Catrice stands have them in town. So definitely have a look. If not, check Pennies and they might have them. But if you do see it, maybe pick it up, because I do feel like they are going to sell out quite quickly because so many people want to try them and everyone loves a good affordable contouring and highlighting palette. I mean, there's none on the market really right now. There's no really good affordable cream contouring and highlighting palette from the drugstore, so I know a lot of people are quite eager to try this. So in the palette you get 2 contour shades, you get 2 highlight shades, and then you also get a shimmery highlight shade, so that'll be for like your highlighting on your cheekbones and down the bridge of your nose and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the contour shades first. So I'm just going to do that. So for this, I'm just going to take a flat concealer brush. This one's from Uvani. And I'm going to take this one here, the lighter contour shade, and I'm going to put this around my usual areas that I would kind of contour. So I'm going to pop this into the hollows of my cheeks. This is where I would contour the most because I have quite a round face. I'm going to bring it up onto my temples, So far they're not as creamy, but then I'm just hitting the top of the product, so they might need to be worked in a little bit. So I'm just popping this around my forehead as well, and the temple area, as I said, and underneath my cheeks. Then I'm also going to bring this onto my jawline. And I'm going to pop a little bit just around my chin, just to contour that small bit. And then this is the lighter shade, so I'm going to pop this onto my nose because I don't want to go too dramatic with the nose contour. You have to be really careful with nose contouring. It can go so wrong so quickly. Trust me, it's happened to me loads. So I'm just popping that on the sides of my nose. And always kind of go on, see the bridge of your nose, always go just to the left and the right of the bridge of your nose, because if you go down here at the sides of your nose, you're actually going to make your nose look bigger by doing that, because you're shading in that area and you're making your actual nose area look wider rather than slimming it down. Whereas if you bring it just a little bit over from the bridge of your nose, then it will slim it down. So I'm going to blend this out. So I'm just using a blank canvas F21 brush. This brush I applied my foundation with. I forgot to mention that. Before I began, I applied my primer and my foundation, and I did my brows obviously. So I'm just gonna blend this out. So this is the brush I used for my foundation. So it's already a little bit kind of moist. So they actually blend quite nicely. You can see straight away that it's not too harsh, or at least I don't think so anyway. I hope it shows up on camera okay. Sometimes I find with the ring light it can look quite harsh, and in person it doesn't look as harsh, so hopefully it shows up okay. So this colour is the cooler toned colour of the two. It has a more ashy undertone to it, and it's not as warm as the other one. So obviously if you're pale you'd probably go for this one, and then if you were tanned you could go for the dark one. Now I have a little bit of cocoa brown on. I know it looks a bit dodge, it's kind of wearing off, but I am a little bit tanned at the minute, so I am going to go in with the other one in a minute. So then for the sides of the nose I always use my finger to blend it, just because it works the best with kind of cream products, and you want to make sure that your nose contour is blended. So now I'm going to take the same brush and the darker shade, and I'm going to pop this into the very hollows of my cheeks. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do like a little triangle just from the top of my ear up towards my temple. And this is just going to be right where the hollow is, so you can go a little bit darker where you actually want to add a little bit of extra dimension. I always go a little bit darker on the hollows of my cheeks. I don't bring it really far down, just up here near the top of the ear. And then you can just apply a small bit around the forehead area just to kind of balance it out, because you don't want to have it really dark here and then really light around the forehead area. And the same with the jawline. Just add a little bit onto the jawline. So far I do really like this. As I said, I don't think they're as creamy as the concealers, but they're definitely not as thick and waxy as the previous ones I have used, previous contouring and highlighting palettes that I've used. So far I like it. So again, I'm just using the same brush to blend that out. And always kind of blend your contour upwards, don't like blend it downwards, because then you're going to get rid of that shape you've actually made there, and it's just going to drag down your face. And make sure you blend this back into the hairline. My tan is so bad. I should have showered it off, I'm so sorry. So that is the two contour shades. I think that has given me quite a nice shape. I don't think it looks too harsh. You can see definitely contouring going on. And once I add the highlight now, you'll probably see a bigger difference. So now for the highlighting, there's two highlight shades that don't have any shimmer. So one's more pinkier toned, and then the other one is the sort of banana colour. So I'm going to take the banana colour underneath my eyes, because the yellowish concealer is great for brightening underneath your eye area. So again, I'm just taking a flat brush and I'm going to do our usual upside down triangle. So it doesn't look too pale or too brightening. The same on the other side. And then just to see, I'm going to use a damp Real Technique sponge to just blend this one out, just to see how it works with a damp sponge. So that's actually nice. It's blending quite well. Doesn't feel too heavy underneath the eyes in my opinion. Feels quite lightweight. So yeah, I definitely think that that's blended quite nicely. I don't think it's overly highlight, it's quite a subtle highlight. I hope it looks like that on camera, but I like a really stark, not white, but quite a bright highlight underneath my eyes, especially if I'm going out. I like quite a bright one. So if you compare the banana shade here to the palest shade from the concealer palette, you can see that the paler shade from the concealer palette is quite brighter than the banana shade. But in saying that, it's quite similar to the skin tone shade. It's actually quite similar. So I'm going to use that skin tone shade on the center points of the rest of my face in a second. So as I said, I'm going to take that skin tone shade. I'm going to pop this onto the center of my chin, down the bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow, and the center of my forehead. This one's actually really, really nice and creamy. I wonder, is it the same as that sort of one from the concealer palette? It's quite similar. I'll swatch them all in a few minutes by them, comparing them. Then for this, I'm just gonna take a Flawless brush, just a synthetic angled brush, and I'm just gonna buff out that concealer. This is definitely my favorite one consistency wise. Blends the nicest and is definitely the creamiest. So then I'm just going to go in with the sponge and just bounce over those areas just to make sure it's blended. So I actually think that looks nice. I think I look a lot more shaped than before I began. I think though I can go a little bit darker with the contour shades in my opinion. I just feel like I need to go a little bit darker. So I'm going to take another bit of the paler shade of the contour ones. I'm just gonna do a little bit more. I just feel like I can go a small bit darker. So I'm just gonna apply that again. Because I have a bit of tan on, I do feel like I can go a little bit darker. But I must say, if you were pale, I definitely think that this contouring palette will work. I don't think it's just suited for tan people. I think those two shades there are absolutely brilliant for someone that's pale. So again, same brush. And then I'm actually going to take the skin tone shade and sharpen up underneath my contour. And again, just use the sponge. And as you can see, that really just sharpens it up. If you like a really sharp contour like I do, then that's going to give you a nice sharp contour. And then obviously when you go in with powder, like I would definitely go in with powder with these products, just because I'm quite used to powder contouring and I do like to darken it up a little bit and obviously set the cream products, so I would always go in with powder and set these. So now I'm going to grab the shimmery highlight shade with my finger, and this looks really nice. I'm going to pop this onto the tops of my cheekbones just in patting motions. And you can see straight away that gives me a little bit of a glow. Not anything crazy, but it is a nice kind of subtle glow, and again this colour will suit pale people because it's a nice pale kind of pearly white. That's just a really nice subtle highlight. I'm going to pop this down the bridge of my nose as well because I like to highlight there, and on my cupid's bow too. So overall I think that that has given me pretty nice shape and definition to the face. It is a little bit thicker than the concealer palette, and I'll actually give you a swatch now of the concealer shades and the contouring shades. Sorry, I went blank there. So I'm just going to give you a swatch of them. So here are the swatches here. The top row is the concealer palette and the bottom row is the contouring palette. And as you can see, the dark concealer shade and the light contouring shade are actually quite similar. And so is the skin tone highlight shade from the contouring palette and the light concealer shade. They're also quite similar too. But you can tell by looking at the swatches that these are a little bit creamier. There's a little bit more product on the swatch area. I went in with these maybe like twice and swatched them. This was only one swatch, so you can tell that they are a little bit creamier, a little bit more kind of pigmented, but you don't want your contouring shades to be too creamy either, because then they will just slip and slide around the face and you won't get a kind of defined shape. So I'm just going to go ahead and set my face and do a small bit of powder contouring and then come back and give you my thoughts. But so far so good. So that is it set with powder products. Overall, I really like it. I definitely think that it is worth $4.50. Obviously, this is just my first impression. First impression is that I do prefer the consistency of the concealer palette. But as I said, you don't want your contouring and highlighting products to be too creamy because they will just slide around the face and then it'll just get messy and you lose your definition and stuff. So in a way, they have been wise by making them a little bit thicker, but I did like the consistency of the concealer ones, and they're not that much thicker than the concealer palette, but there is a little bit of a difference, and I would notice it because I am used to using the concealer palette to cream contour and highlight. Like I said, definitely worth the $4.50. Great little palette. I will probably keep you guys updated in an upcoming video or tutorial. I'll definitely be using it over the next few weeks, and I'll mention it in some video, or else I'll do a blog post on it and I'll let you guys know what I think of it. So that's it, just a quick little first impression video on this little palette, because I haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought I would do one. When this came out I was quite intrigued by it, so I definitely wanted to do some sort of video on it. So let me know if you've tried it yourself, or if you have any contouring palettes that you do like, because I am on the hunt for one that I like. I haven't found one that I love yet. So definitely let me know if you know any good ones. As always, if you did enjoy this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye!